Oh yeah, I have to agree with that assessment. I don't really know much about the guy who is supposed to be his opponent in this upcoming game, which is Makoni. Not that I've heard the name too often before, so we're going to have to wait and let ourselves be surprised. So, Makoni, the Protoss player, versus Optimus. The map is going to be Newkirk Precinct.
Yep, one of the new Heart of the Swarm maps rather. And I like that we're seeing Terrans use Tasia colours. That just makes me happy to watch.
Okay, so on the right side of the map, Newkirk Precinct, we do have the Tasia-colored Terran Lost Control Optimus, and on the opposing side we do have LowLandLions, Makoni, the Protoss in yellow.
Yep,
Not
oh, and look at that. Optimus, just chucking in the chat, make sure to follow both the players on Twitter. Twitter.com/Makoni and Twitter.com/MCon_Optimus. Hashtag swag to you indeed.
hashtag everything, guys. So this
Hashtag beards.
speaking, yeah, hashtag beards, yeah, esport beard for the win. So give some hashtags for the beard, guys. So thinking about Newkirk Precinct, that's another map that kind of forces or lends itself to rather late game, late game split map scenarios. Just the way it is built, and you have a decent number of bases that you can take. You actually have 7 of them on your half of the map, and none of those can be contested quite easily if you set up your defenses properly. So but at the same time, it all depends on what happens during the mid game. The mid game usually it's up to the Terran to be aggressive, to try to force mistakes out of his opponent, to damage his infrastructure, slow him down a little bit. Because if you leave the Protoss alone, he will just secure a good economy tech up, and then it's going to be really hard for the Terran to do anything about it. So I'm really just looking forward to the 8 to 13 minute mark, where most of the things will get decided probably.
Yep. Now, I don't speak Dutch. That's fairly obvious in my pronunciation of certain players' names, such as Mella. But despite that, from what I can see, I think I may have started something in the chat with people arguing over who's better, Optimus or Poyo. So, whoops. Sorry guys,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're just as good as each other. They are actually, from what I've seen before, both incredibly good Terrans, and it's nice that we get to see them in different matchups. Poyo, of course, earlier on in the TVT, and Optimus here in a TVP situation.
Yeah. Optimus going for a gasless expand here, getting on those additional Araxes as fast as humanly possible. And the Protoss player, well, he's getting not 1 but 2 Stalkers, actually. And that's largely due to the fact that he wasn't able to scout the gases of the Terran. Because he did scout after Gateway, and this map, the distances between the mains are fairly long. So even if you don't build that supply depot on top of your ramp straight up to deny the scouting, it still ends up being there by the time the probe arrives. Which is why some of the players, if they do want to be extra safe, they do scout straight after the pylon. Makoni getting his Nexus up, and a Mothership core just coming out.
Yeah, it certainly looks like we're setting up for the later game scenario that you spoke about earlier, that Newkirk Precinct does tend to lend itself to. And that's going to be good to see, again. Mouse Control 1 game down, and LowLandLions only need to win this one. If Makoni takes this game off Optimus, they will be the ones to win. They will be the ones with the veto for their opponents on Saturday. So it's nice that if it's going to be decided that way, if it's going to go to Makoni, it's going to go so in a macro game. Both players have expanded already. These Stalkers trying to do a bit of pressure. No bunker up from Optimus just yet. Starts to put it down. But the thing is, with the way this ramp is structured here for Optimus, he can use the vision there to make sure that the Stalkers don't just kite his army forever.
Oh yeah. So Optimus did scan a little while ago, but all he saw was that expansion coming up, so he doesn't actually know about any of the tech choices from the Protoss player yet. He will have to scout at some point, either with a push or just expanding another scan. I wouldn't really be surprised if he scanned again in the main base as soon as he's got energy for it, because there's nothing like being surprised by DTs. Or a DT drop, which, might be coming his way, and he wouldn't know about it. But it is going to be Colossus, so a fairly standard game here for Marconi. Just getting a couple of observers before the Colossi end up rolling off the production line. And it looks like this game had to have been recovered from a replay.
Yep, some lag problems. Actually, I think we had some lag problems the entire time that this was occurring, because we've seen this in previous games as well. We saw a couple of pauses happen, and nice pick-off. Getting the Stalker there, Optimus, before Stim is out. Marconi not reacting quickly enough there.
You know what is interesting? I kind of noticed one thing. If you take a look at the barracks and the tech labs, the first tech lab that was being put down by Optimus is the lower one. And he started Stim immediately as the tech lab finished. But now if you check the tech labs, the top one is researching Stim. So, but he does have combat shields done. So either he had to have reconsidered and just canceled the Stim and got combat shields first out of that lower tech lab, which would be really weird in my opinion, or he just canceled on accident and then queued it up at the top one. That's just it's just an interesting thing, but which confused me. Not a really big deal. But even so, the Stim should have been done by now. So I think he cancelled by mistake.
Yeah, he must have done, because there's no other reason to actually cancel it. It's not like he, he was going for both Combat Shield and Stim Pack anyway, so it's not like he needed the Combat Shield to be done quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very strange. So he's actually going for a very large push out here. He's going to use the speed boost of the medevacs to catch up to that army.
Yeah, and I think that Marconi is going for a fake out with the Colossus because he's not getting range, and he already has a Twilight Council getting ready to put down the Temple Archives and a Forge. So probably he's just showing the Colossus to the Terran, and he's going to go very quickly into Heavy Gateway Storm composition here, but you're forgetting that the Terran will be dropping you very shortly, so he can scout with that drop, or potentially scan as well. And oh, this is really smart. Look at this. The third medevac that's coming in already has units in it. Even if it wasn't planned to do a drop, you can still get reinforcements on the battlefield quicker this way.
Yeah, unfortunately for Optimus, Marconi's observer was following that army as it moved across the map, saw two fully loaded medevacs moving out, so he has a High Templar there ready to feedback. He's got a ton of Stalkers pre-split and ready to converge in on any medevacs with units that should drop in. So actually going in with this is probably not a good idea by Optimus. I think either he's going to have to do something to draw that army away at the front, or just take these medevacs back, or even just switch them around, try and drop at the third instead.
And there is also an observer right now in position to intercept that drop on patrol to the right side of Marconi's main base. Marconi taking a third base not too long after the Terran did. And wow, Optimus just keeps scanning at all the wrong locations.
Yep, it is very unfortunate for him. Oh,
Oh, but he is
man.
setting up for a double-pronged attack right now. And I don't think Makoni has any idea. The drop that will be heading to the main base might be thwarted, but the third base will be forced to cancel.
Oh, that's
Woo!
horrendous. 3 medevacs disappear instantly. Now, of course, as you say, that third base was forced to cancel, which is a nice move by Optimus, but losing 3 medevacs worth of units so quickly will not have been on his agenda there.
No, and I think this even opens up a counterattack option for Makoni. The storm is finished, and he's got plenty of gateways, just queued up 3 additional ones as he's putting down another Nexus in the pocket expansion. Half Optimus's forces are away from the main base, and I think Makoni is going for it. He's doing the right decision, moving across the map. Is he bringing his mothership core with him? Now, as you mentioned, the 3 medevacs, resources lost, 2,000 versus 700. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that is huge, especially in a potential counterattack situation, especially as the force of Optimus that hit that top base is really, really hurt, and that medevac has no energy. As it is, Makoni comes in, cuts half the force off, does get to kill all of that, and the rest of the force is going to come up and check for this third, but oh, it's not there. Makoni has remade it down at the pocket expansion instead.
Charge more than halfway finished for Makoni as well, and with that charge he's going to feel a lot more confident to move out on the map, almost getting that medevac that is threatening his...
Now, will Optimus get a cancel here? Yes, he does force that cancel again on the third base. Once again, going to lose a few of these units, going to lose all that energy on the medevac, but worth doing this time. Didn't lose as much as he did in the main base, and forced the cancel on that third yet again. So although he's losing resources, he's adding a 4th command center now. If he can stay alive, his economic advantage will mean that the early losses will not matter.
So those medevacs actually did try to juke around, but they are being spotted by this observer, blinking by Makoni, taking both of those out. Great map awareness and game presence so far coming out of Makoni. I'm really impressed. He's just on top of the ball the majority of the time. And of course, taking out this destructible debris at the 7 o'clock allows him to take a 4th base and pressure at the same time. The army sizes are quite similar here, but only 3 Ghosts out on the field, only 3 Vikings. I wouldn't be surprised if the Protoss player got the thermal lens upgrade now, because now he can afford it. He does have quite a lot of storms stacked up already, and he does still have 2 Colossi out on the field. Now, the Terran player doesn't have a very strong counter so far to neither.
Yeah, Optimus is going to be in a difficult situation here if he wants to hold this series for mouse control. Does have that center tower going up, again, something I really, really like Terran's doing, but of course, knowing that your opponent's coming in is not going to be any good if you don't have the right army to stop them from killing you. Now, I mean, for me, where are the ghosts here? There's not enough. He's only got a few ghosts now. And,
the same deal with the Vikings, only 4 Ghosts and 3 Vikings, you know, and there's a lot of Templars. Actually, 3 Templars, so those Ghosts might be enough to take care of them, but I reckon
with that army, but we do have 6 more coming out to join them, and that's where it's going to start to get a bit more difficult for those 4 Ghosts to really control the flow of the battle.
And we do have Thermal Lance finally going down, so my guess, Makoni is going to wait for that Thermal Lance to finish, and then he'll attack. Maybe he will end up waiting for the +3 to finish, but I don't think he has to. He will be on even upgrades with the Terran in a moment here. A little bit of harassment by some Zealots at the top base of Optimus, but that's been taken care of relatively nicely here. Oh, if we look at the pocket expansion, we have some idle probes there actually not mining gas. That's a huge deal for the Protoss at this stage of the game. He really needs as many gas as he can afford. And a Stargate transition.
Well, at the moment, we do have this huge drop at the natural expansion of Makoni by Optimus. All the medevacs are gone now, but good positioning on his Marauders mean he's going to get a lot more kills than he should have in that situation, including High Templar kills. So, well worth doing. Very, very nice work there by the mouse control Terran player to try and get back into a strong position in this game.
So Optimus trying to scan basically everywhere, trying to find the army and additional expansions at the same time. He doesn't know about this expansion where the destructible rocks were before, so I mean, he has to suspect it is there, but he's not really sure. So, I mean, maybe he's scratching his head like, "Where's your fourth? I already have 4 bases. Where is your fourth? You should definitely have that." Another attempted zealot run by to the top of the map, and may end up getting some SCV kills there. I have to say, I really like the unit positioning here for Makoni. He's got multiple observers out on the map, a Templar in the middle, you know, in the middle of those 2 pathways, so if any army is spotted with the watchtower moving through there, he can storm immediately. And neither it is a Templar that has full energy, so if it gets killed, not a huge loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to fully agree with you there, Marconi, with some very, very nice unit placement, and especially with the pre-splits. Another good scan by Optimus means he knows exactly where his opponent is. He knows the army's still there. He knows he's still relatively safe at this point. He's not about to come under any huge attack. But here is where Marconi's army spread really comes into play. The observers, they see the double drop headed out on the north side of the map. And of course, there are no bases anywhere near there. So, so long as he's ready to defend
trying
that
to position the High Templar there to feed back those 2 medevacs. I don't think the High Templar will catch those actually, but
certainly not if they speed boost. Are they going to speed boost? Oh,
speed boost at the last second. I don't know. I don't actually know if he saw them. I don't think he saw those. But look at this, Makoni pulling back another High Templar. Oh, now he's going to get them. Woohoo! Man, so good. Such a clutch play by Makoni.
Simultaneously, we have a drop at the 4th. That Nexus is going to fall if he targets it down. And it goes. Nice play there by Optimus. Unfortunately, losing too many units in that first drop means that was not cost effective. But still taking down the Nexus, a very, very good move by the Mouse Control Terror.
I mean, at this point, losing a whole expansion is not such a blow to the Protoss player as one would imagine. Look at this, Makoni even double expanding, like, what the hell? He's got a fairly large bang. Resources lost 9,000 to 5.5k. He's hugely and has been hugely ahead in this game for such a long time. He can afford to lose an expansion or two, but constantly picking off those drops without letting them do anything, actually. That's the deal of this game, I have to say. I mean, Optimus wasn't allowed to do anything to the Protoss, and right now we have a Tempest transition coming out of Makoni, which I have to imagine, yes, Optimus knows absolutely nothing about.
Yep, and Optimus now sacking off SCVs, also using it for a scout at the same time.
Wow, look at the number of ghosts.
That is a lot of ghosts. Makoni is pulling back, trying to get away from there. Nice attempted side slams there to hold that army at bay. But that's so many ghosts, and with so much built-up energy for personal cloaking, Makoni's going to have to be very, very careful in how he engages here. But, as we spoke about before, the Tempest transition is coming out. The Tempest transition, a very, very good one against ghosts.
Well, I think the reason he's getting Tempest is basically to have an option how to solve the split map scenario here, because, you know, that's the unit with the most range. But at the same time, if you get too many Tempests, you will get put down on your ass by mass Viking response. Or just by your opponent, you know, eliminating your AoE and then getting mass Marines. That's all there is to it. So another expansion going to go down, probably for, yeah, it does fall. And this was actually I think, in my opinion, this was a greater blow to Makoni at this stage in the game than it was losing that bottom Nexus before, after which he had double expanded.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a continuous frustration. It's going to make him spend a bit more on static defense. Oh, but we are having another engagement there. Great EMPs going down on all of the forward Protoss units. Nice feedback in return, but the High Templars will all die. Perfect storm right in the center of that army. Huge engagement here. The Vikings moving in, taking down all the Colossus. The Colossus are gone. The High Templars have virtually no energy left, and there is still this bio army left for Optimus Archons morphing, trying to hold this Terran away.
giant warping of zealots coming in, trying to push this army back. A blink forward, aggressive blink forward. I don't know if that was the greatest idea. Putting the Archons on the back foot, literally, this Nexus is going to go down. There is still this army remaining. The Protoss has just lost all of his important units, all of his High Templars, all of his Tempests. This Templar needs to not slack on the job and storm, but no, it doesn't, and gets sniped before it has a chance to do anything. These Zealots will be killed by the overwhelming firepower of the Bio here by the Terran, even killing the Rocks to prevent the Protoss from following him up, taking out yet another expansion. And look at this, suddenly the bank for Makoni is non-existent.
Yep, he has no minerals left. 15 minerals. He has no income. There's just a few patches left in that natural expansion now. Having to remake all the way up at his previous 5th base and just being shut down constantly. This is what Optimus' playstyle is all about. It's very, very good at this. Getting nice kills on those tech units and then just starving out the Protoss opponent when he tries to remake with those high mineral count, high gas count units.
So right now Makoni is basically forced into a counterattack, but that was such a good series of engagements for Optimus. This is exactly what he needed to get back into this game a little bit. It's not like he was hugely behind, but he was slightly behind the whole game long, I have to say. And just one good series of engagements is what puts him hugely ahead. It's going to take forever for the Protoss to rebuild this force, and all Optimus has to do is reproduce his army. He's already maxed again. Keep in mind, Marauders, Marines with upgrades, hugely effective, and they all produce about 2 billion times faster than one Tempest.
So, very, very true. Now we're seeing another split from Optimus, trying to hit several locations at once. And, well, it looks like it's going to be incredibly effective. Once again, he's going to get up. There's no Nexus been remade at the south location, but what he's hoping is that Makoni's army will come and follow him down there, so that Optimus can then go in and snipe that northern base, and that's exactly what's happening. Makoni is starting to fall for it, moving down towards the south. Here comes the Stim. He needs to be focusing down that Nexus. He just wants to make that disappear before the army can respond. Unfortunately, a slightly poor focus there. Stim coming in. I don't know if it's going to be enough. These units will get taken down, unfortunately, but a drop in the main now. Gates being unpowered, Stargates being unpowered. A lot of damage done to the production lines of Makoni. He's going to have no money, he's going to have no production structures, and I think we are watching Optimus take this game for mouse control.
Oh, definitely. Optimus is just, at this point in time, he's just doing this brilliantly, playing this as a TVZ in Wings of Liberty, abusing the immobility of the very, very slow Archon Tempest composition of Makoni here, because he can't afford to leave those Tempests all by themselves. Another base skill that wasn't actually a cancel at the top. The small force of Terran units will get taken out, but Makoni is certainly on the back foot. His options are rapidly running out. Another double drop going into the main base, not being killed by the Tempest. That's actually a cute idea, using Tempests to defend versus drops with that range. But they just don't have a fast enough firepower. I mean, firing rate. Storm goes down, but, well, that drop not actually doing anything other than diverting Makoni's attention. But look at this, for the past 2 minutes he's almost constantly been supply blocked. He can't even produce any army, even though he wants to. That's why his bank is rising to heights we have not seen for the last 5 minutes.
So we were seeing Optimus still trying to sack more and more SCVs to create more supply for his army, was actually using them to attack High Templars that were all out on their own, to the point they had to storm the SCVs just to get rid of them. Which is, I think, the first time I've ever seen that happen outside of a mineral line.
My god, almost a full 3-row control group of ghosts. Are you kidding me here? 22 ghosts out on the field. Don't we have any nukes here? I really want to see nukes. I mean, with that many ghosts, as long as you can snipe the observers off, which Optimus has been doing a great job of, then, you know, this could be really epic, hilarious, funny, and humiliating for Makoni at the same time, but an awesome show for the viewers.
Yep. Optimus completely in control here. Marconi does not have the money to keep remaking these Nexus all throughout this game. And as is pointed out in the chat, yes, we did have to have a second resume from replay. Just a few Lycrons, but we are watching the slow death of the LowLandLions Protoss player here in this PvT matchup. And you know what that means, don't you, Bell?
Oh, yeah, I know. So, another drop in the main. Another attack from the north. Just pure Ghost Stone Age. Will we see a Mass Cloak? There we go, Mass Cloak. Storms going down all over the place, missing all of the time, of course. And another scan trying to pick off those observers. And down they go. Those cloaked ghosts will reign with impunity. And I have to say, at this point in time, Optimus firmly in control of the game. Marconi goes GG and sorry. Maybe
Yep,
apologizing
for the lag.
Yeah, for the lag or for not the best game, but probably for the lag.
I don't see how you can apologise for not the best game. Really good play from both of those players.
Yeah. I mean, the early and the mid game, really, the Protoss player Marconi was on top of the ball the majority of the time, if not all the time, just really performing admirably. But in those engagements and the late game crisis management and tactical maneuvering, Optimus just outshined him.